Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We have some more exciting released or leaked information from the automotive world here, and as you see behind me is a rendering of a C8 Z06. So, as you know, and probably by the title, we're going to be talking about the released information on the potential engines that are going to be out, and there's some information in there that I thought was pretty interesting that I want to share with everybody, and got some pictures of a C8 Z up on the screen here, and of course these are just renderings, but I do want to talk about them because I think there are some pretty cool things here that may be happening with the Z06, and I just really can't wait to see them. So let's jump right into it. In this rendering, you can kind of see some GT3 RS type front vents over the front wheels. You have some SVJ looking vents by the front emblem in kind of the snout of the vehicle. And you have the C8R type wing on the back of this one. So again, these are just renderings, but I hope some of these bits do come to fruition because this could be an absolutely incredible car. And I want to just throw in the C8 here on the side profile because you can see that it has that really aggressive wing kind of coming straight off the back, and it's just such a cool car. The C8R is really awesome, and it's so aggressive looking. Just this front view of it, I think it's such a cool car, and the fact that that is kind of derived from a street version. I mean, we're in such a great time where you can get a car that most likely the Z06 ZR1 will look very aggressive. It's not going to look just like that because that is a race car, but it is going to look very similar, and that's going to be available on the street for probably a pretty reasonable price. So moving on here to some more renderings while I'm just kind of talking, I really hope that the Z06 gets a widened body and also gets some more aero, which you can kind of see here in this car and driver one. The front is a little wider and has some more aggressive aero. The back fender looks a lot wider and really overall just a little more aggressive. And some of those other renderings I showed you hopefully kind of get you an idea of what some massive aero will look like, maybe some type of canards, possibly and most likely a very large wing in the back. And of course, with some of these bits of information coming out about the engine, we're going to need a lot of air pumped to that engine. So hopefully there'll be a lot more air ducts and just really cool lines to this vehicle, which I think there will be. Corvette has really knocked it out of the park with the base model C8, so I cannot see how the Z06 and ZR1 is not going to be just absolutely incredible. What we've all been wanting to see, and that is the horsepower numbers we're going to be getting potentially in the Z06 ZR1 and maybe even one called the Zora. So let's jump right into it here. I'm going to put these numbers up on your screen so you can check them out while I'm talking. The 2021 model year is essentially what we already have: 6.2 liter, 490 horsepower, 465 pound-feet. Like I said, pretty much what we have right now. So 2022 is where it gets interesting. 2022 is going to be the Z06 reportedly. Now, the Z06 is been talked about being a very track-focused, lightweight, high-revving vehicle, and I think that this, if this is true, kind of really, confirms that this is going to be an LT6 5.5 liter 32 valve dual over cam, most likely a flat plane crank, and it's going to have 650 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque, which is essentially what the outgoing C7 Z06 had, but that was a 6.2 liter massively supercharged engine. So if they can squeeze 650 horsepower out of a 5.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, that will be insane. I hope they do make it happen. This vehicle could be really cool if they make it lightweight, high revving. This is supposedly going to rev to about 8,500 or maybe even more. 8,500 seems a little bit more of the max to me, but if this is a high revving, dual clutch, and lightweight vehicle, this will be an incredible car. Now, some of the reports I'm seeing, it says it's going to start at 85,000. And that seems kind of crazy, but you think the current C8 Stingray, is under 60,000 starting. It's like 59.9, but it's still 60 grand to start out with, and it is one heck of a car. Going on to 2023. So 2023 is when they're saying the Grand Sport's going to be out. This one to me seems a little weird because it's saying it's going to be an LT2 6.2 liter, so same thing as the 2021 model year that is listed here, but it's going to have a hybrid powertrain what I find weird, I guess, is that it's going to have 600 horsepower and 500 pound-feet. Now, to me, if you start with a base engine of almost 500 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, those numbers seem pretty low. And that, to me, just seems kind of off. I think you get a lot more torque than 500 out of that type of setup. But the other thing that seems weird to me is I don't know why you would do this. The Grand Sport has always been, at least the last couple generations, have been just a Z06 body with a base model engine to keep the price down. This to me would not keep the price down. It would make it way more unique than it needs to be. The Grand Sport is just to essentially get a Z06 for cheaper. You just don't get the crazy horsepower. Well, this would essentially give you the same horsepower and more newer technology. And I just don't really see that being the case. So I think this one's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. I kind of hope that I'm right and it just goes with a Z06 body and this base model LT2 or whatever it's called, or whatever it's going to be called, the 490 horsepower engine. I hope they stick with that kind of platform, because I think if you overcomplicate this and have hybrids in the middle between the Z06 and the ZR1 and offer that kind of package would just be kind of a headache to me. But anyways, I'm going to move on to 2024 model year, which is the ZR1, which is the one I'm most excited about because as you see just from the numbers here, it's going to be an absolute monster. This one makes a lot more sense to me. The outgoing ZR1 has 755 horsepower and is an absolute monster. This one, if they're getting 650 horsepower out of the Z06 with that 5.5 LT6, this one being the LT7, which is the same, probably pretty close to the same 5.5 liter, but you add twin turbos to it, that's insane. So twin turbos on a high revving flat plane crank engine definitely is possible. That 850 horsepower is possible. This car, if that's true, this car is going to be absolutely insane. I see a big wing, a lot of downforce. I see this one having a lot more aero in the regards that it needs a lot more air for those turbos to get into the engine. So there's probably going to be a lot more ductwork, which is exciting. I hope there's some really cool stuff that they do to the body to make it more aggressive and functional. So that is the ZR1. 4 years away, a little ways away. I hope they start moving pretty quickly on this stuff, because right now the automotive world is just moving at a rapid pace. So you can't wait too long to release these things, otherwise you're going to be way behind the curve here. So moving on to the last thing, Zora. So Zora is something pretty interesting. Obviously, as I said before, he's kind of the pioneer for GM or Corvette to make a mid-engine Corvette, and they're kind of paying tribute to him here. That they create their own, or create its own model. To me, if this does happen, it'll be absolutely insane. I think it'd probably be a limited number here. And I want to go back to the ZR1 real quick. Pricing, not a lot of information on pricing, but I do see it being nicely into the 100,000 range, probably 150 grand for one of these out the door. So just want to throw that out there. There's not a lot of info, so that's why I kind of forgot about it. But moving on here, the Zora, I think this could be a limited run vehicle, and if it's true, it'll be insane. LT7 HP1, 5.5 liter, twin turbo, hybrid. So this will essentially be a ZR1 with a hybrid all-wheel drive system, which would be crazy. So I hope it does happen, because 1,000 horsepower Corvette from the factory would be really cool. I don't know where you go up from there if that's the case. I mean, it seems hard to kind of grow off of that, but it could be really cool. I hope that if they do it, it is a limited number. That way they're not all over the place and the values stay up on them. That's at least my hope here, but we'll see what happens. 2025, very long ways away. Just imagine what has happened over the last 5 years of the automotive world. So who knows what's going to happen with the Corvette up to that point. But I think the Z06 is going to be on the horizon, and we're probably going to see some stuff on it pretty soon. With that being said, I'm going to try to cut this one right here because it is getting a little long, and I don't want to bore you guys. But any more information that comes out, I will definitely bring it to you all, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. I'd really appreciate that. I want to hit that really as fast as possible. We've been in the 500s for way too long, so let's get to 1,000, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.